I remember my father-in-law, when I was asking for his permission to marry his daughter, one of the questions he was asking me is that, what do you do? Of course, when I told him what I was doing, he was like, I hope this job is a pensionable job. And it was really strange to me because, number one, I don't like jobs. Number two, I wasn't the type of guy who would wait 35, 45 years for pension. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are, anywhere in the world. And as you know, I'm bringing you another episode of Young Folks Ask. And today we have a very interesting question, something that would tingle the ears of any young person listening to it right now. And without further ado, today I'm in business. My name is Benga Richmond, but I'm in business. No time to waste time. So let's just dive right into today's topic. And today's topic is, should I get a job or get a gig? So young folks ask, should I get a job or should I get a gig? I'm sure you guys know about the gig economy. If you're a young person in the house, you know what gig economy is. So should I get a job or should I get a gig? That's something that young people are always struggling with, and I'm here to put all your worries to rest. So now, what I'm going to do, or what I always do, and if you see me looking left, that's because I'm considering my outline to make sure that I cover all the bases, right? So what I usually do is to lay some background before I go into, get a job. Oh no, don't get a job, get a gig. I always start with a background. The background helps us put things in perspective so that when it's time to choose, you know what to do. So the background, I'm going to start the background with the pandemic and the new normal. There's no one here. As long as you can listen to me and understand what I'm saying, then you experienced 2020. What happened in 2020? The pandemic came and swept everyone off their feet. It swept everyone off their feet. We just woke up one day and we could not go out. We woke up one day and there was lockdown. We woke up one day and things just went haywire, if you know what I'm talking about. And after the pandemic, when things began to clear, we began to understand that, okay, this pandemic was not all that bad. Actually, this bad, in quotes, brought some good. Or something called a new normal, because what I would consider as good might not be good to you, right? But it brought a new normal, a shift. It was like 2020 was the year of the shift. So things were about to shift the way you know them, and what was normal before, now what was normal before was no longer normal. So we had to form something called the new normal. One example of the new normal is remote work. Before the pandemic, before 2020, no employer was going to pay you anything serious if you were going to work from home. After 2020, it became the new normal. So before, you had to wake up very early, brush your teeth, do your normal routine, hit the road and go to work. After 2020, you just wake up, do your prayers, brush your teeth, and come before your laptop. Like even in your pajamas. So, that's a new normal. Really, really new normal. Fortunately for someone like me, I had already started doing remote work from 2018. I started on Fiverr. My story is in one of these books I wrote, which you can ask me in the comment. I might just be gracious enough to, tell you how I started my freelance or remote work journey in the year 2018, February 2018 to be precise. Anyways, that's like how many years now? 2018 minus 2024, that's 6 years. I've been in the game for 6 years. I know some things. So in 2018, just at the cusp of the 2020 pandemic, I had already started freelancing. I had already broken out of the shock that you could work from home and earn, so it wasn't, I already had a 2-year head start. I already had a 2-year head start, if you understand what I mean. So it wasn't, my new normal started 2018. The rest of the world's new normal, for those who were not remote workers before 2020, it started in 2020. Okay, So, having said this background, let's go into what is the difference between a job and a gig. So, if you understand the characteristics between the characteristics that make a job, the characteristics that make a gig, then it's easier for you to make your choice. So, I'll put these differences before you and let you make your pick. Ready? Let's go. So, job versus gig. Now, let's consider a job. What is a job? The first thing that comes to my mind every time I hear the word job is the acronym just over borrowing or just over broke. One of those seminars, the speaker said when you get a job, what you've just gotten is you are just over broke. And if you look at it, if you've checked a previous episode I did where I talked about the Parkinson's disease, that expenses always rise to match income, you understand that people live paycheck to paycheck. In fact, before the next paycheck comes, they are already in the red. So they take the new paycheck, pay part of the red so that they can come back to the surface, to zero, to ground zero, and then they keep spending in that vicious circle that keeps them poor. So yes, if you say job is an acronym for just over borrowing or just over broke, I agree. I'll be there. I've done that. I can testify. So now, but let's go deeper and talk about what a job is. So one, from my notes here, job is a long-term commitment. Every time you get a job, usually you have to work for one employer for a number of time, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years. Some even do 45 years working for one company. Wow. So long-term commitment typically offers stability and job security. I remember my father-in-law. So when I was trying to court him to agree for me to take his daughter in marriage, as in like asking for his permission to marry his daughter, I remember one of the questions he was asking me is that, what do you do? Of course, when I told him what I was doing, he was like, I hope this company you're working with, I hope this job, that's the way he put it, I hope this job is a pensionable job, so, and it was really strange to me because me, number one, I don't like jobs. Number two, I wasn't the type of guy who would wait 35, 45 years for pension. Nah, I wasn't that type of guy. So, of course, to fulfill all righteousness, I was like, yeah, I'm sure they're going to give us some pension and whatnot. The things we say just to get our in-laws to say yes to us, right? If you know, you know. So, well, why one thing that makes job good, in quote, is that there's some form of stability. So that if I get this full-time job, I'm going to be working for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, for the next X number of years, right? And then apart from that, job security. So that, okay, fine, if I start a family, I can sustain that family. For example, let's talk about Nigerians. If you are in the civil service, if you work in the civil service and you're rising from level 3 to 4 to whatever, you start a family, that, okay, after every 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, you're going to get a promotion. It's really hard for you to be sacked out of you must really do something terrible for you to lose your job in a civil service setting. So your salary is fixed, and there are incremental promotions that bring about a raise in salary after some 2, 3, 4 years. And the government even kinds of like takes some money from your salary and helps you save into like a pension scheme or scam, whatever. And then at the end of the day, when you are done putting in 40 years of your life or 35 years of your life, as the case may be, then you can go back and say, government, can you give me back my pension in bulk? I want to do whatever with it. Okay, so a job offers long-term commitment and it offers job security. Second, fixed schedule. So in a work environment, as we know it, we call it the 9 to 5, that you're supposed to resume work by 9 and then you close by 5. But both me and you, we know that it's not 9 to 5 because, if you stay in a city like Lagos, Nigeria, you have to wake up as early as 4 a.m. and you hit the road. 4 a.m., 4:30, 5 o'clock, you hit the road and you are at work by 8 a.m. or 8:30 or something. So I'm sure if you arrive at a Nigerian company by 9 a.m., they will consider you coming late and you might get some some beatings, if you know what I'm talking about. So the point is, the second thing is that there's a fixed schedule. So you know that I'm clocking in, let's even just use the 9 to 5 to make things easier. I'm clocking in 9 o'clock, I'm closing 5 p.m. These things work more in the civil service. See, I keep mentioning private organizations, not quite. So in the civil service setting, I clock in 9 o'clock in the morning, I clock out 5 p.m. in the evening, and that's it, right? So it offers, you understand that it's a fixed schedule. I mean, anything before 9 I'm not working, anything after 5 I'm not working. So what's the third thing that the job gives you? It gives you defined roles and responsibilities. What do we mean? You get specific duties, something called like a job description. So usually, even if it's a full-time remote work or on-site, whether off-site or on-site, they will usually, along with your employment letter, tell you your job description. You're expected to do more like in a bullet list. These are things that you're supposed to do, and usually they will not go too far within the scope of your job description, right? So your roles are defined. Your roles and responsibilities are defined beforehand. Now, number 4 characteristic of a job is employee benefits. I mean, you know this thing that you get a full-time job, you get a full-time employment contract that comes with health insurance, that comes with retirement plans like the pension I mentioned, that comes with all sort of stuff, some benefits. Some job even come with an official car if it's on site. Some remote jobs now, they give you something for insurance, give you something for setting up your remote workspace and whatnot. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like in a full-time role, whether on site or off site, they give you certain benefits, health plan, retirement plan, maternity leave, paid time off, PTOs and whatnot. Okay, great. So what is another benefit or characteristic of a job? Typically, you get something called career growth opportunity. So if you are working like in the civil service setting, if you are working, after a couple of years you get promoted into level 4, and then after a couple of years level 6, level 7, whatever the organogram. So you keep getting promoted in the same company. You're going up, or something the civil servants call climbing up the ladder, or in the corporate setting they call it climbing the ladder. So you might go through 10 steps to get to management or whatever. So it provides opportunity for career growth. So potential for promotions, potential for raises, potential for professional development. You get all of that, right? And then finally, we have something called employer control. Not employee control, employer control, which means the employer has more control over work processes and tasks. So the employer get to tell you when you clock in, when you clock out, the kind of job you're going to do, how much time you have to yourself, how much leave you can have access to in a year, when you can take a sick leave or not, when you can take a work leave or not, yada yada yada, when you can go for professional training that will be approved, when you can go for a leave that will be paid for or not, yada yada yada. So we are done with the characteristics of a job. So now let's go straight into the characteristics of a gig. To start with, for those who don't know, what is a gig? A gig is a temporary job. So you are not employed in the gig economy. You are not employed with the brand per se, but you work for them. You have a skill that you've really honed or sharpened, and then you can offer your service per project. So gig is what gig is on per project. I want you to help me write this. I want you to help me design this website. So it's task based. Do this and I pay you this. Do that and I pay you this. So it's not something like do whatever we tell you within a 30-day period and you get a salary. No, this one is like a contract, like a temporary contract. Okay, help me design this website. I'll pay you X amount, or I'll pay you X amount per hour till you finish the website. Help me design this logo. I'll pay you X amount. I'll pay you X amount per hour till you're done with the logo. Okay, help me with marketing strategy for this new startup, and we want you to work 20 hours per week and for the next 6 months, or for the next 1 month, or for the next 2 weeks. So it's more temporary. It's not something that you can be there for years. It does happen that you are there for years, but it's not an expectation, if you know what I'm talking about. So a gig is short term or freelance. Freelance is that let me quote our former president. Freelance means I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. What do I mean? Anybody who needs my service, I'm yours. I'm not loyal to any one person or any one job. I'm just loyal to the task at hand, right? So short term or freelance. So usually project based, like I said, or task specific with no long term commitment. Usually in a few days, in a few weeks, in a few months, you're out of the contract and you're into another one if you're lucky. So another thing about the gig economy is something called flexible schedule. So because this project is kind of like temporary and contract based, what happens is that the worker often sets their own hours. So I can, for example, I'm a tech copywriter. So you tell me, can you help me work on the homepage of my website? Oh, no problem. How much will you charge? Okay, let me take a look. I look at the scope, I look at what you want done, and I say, okay, this is going to take me 5 hours to complete the homepage, and I charge maybe $100 per hour. Yes, on Upwork I charge $100 per hour. So $100 per hour times 5 hours, this is going to be $500. If you give me $500, I'm going to help you with your homepage copy, and it's going to be top notch. So that you negotiate like that. You can't do that in a job setting. You can only do that in the gig setting. So flexible schedule, you set your own hours. I'm going to do this in 5 hours. I'm going to do it in 10 hours. And then what else again? It allows you for more freedom. So for example, I can decide I'm not working more than 20 hours per week. So the first client comes, okay, I give him my 5 hours. The second client comes, I give him my 7 hours. That's making 12 hours. The third client comes, I give him my 8 hours, and that's it. I can say 20 hours is all I'm working, and that's it. For a 9 to 5, you have to do like 40 hours per week, and it's non-negotiable. You must, if you're hoping to get a salary at the end of the month. But for we giggers, we set our own schedule, we set our own hours, we set our own expectations. We are like our own boss, so to speak. And if you're looking for something that you can easily relate with, consider the Uber driver, the Uber or Bolt driver. They are freelancers. They are in the gig economy. Those cars don't belong to Uber or Bolt or Taxify or whatever or InDrive. Those cars usually belong to the drivers, or those drivers have owners that are given to the drivers. The drivers have autonomy over how many hours they want to work, over what time they want to work, over where they want to go. They have so much freedom. They do not have to clock in or clock out anywhere. They can decide to start a ride 9 a.m. today and tomorrow they start at 12 p.m. It's totally up to them, So unlike a work or a job environment where you have to clock in, imagine like a driver for a company. You can't say I'm going to resume at the bank by 12 p.m. No, maybe by 6 a.m. you're supposed to even go and pick up the bank manager, and you must, and stuff like that. So you see the difference between a job and a gig again in terms of the flexible schedule. So the next thing about the gig economy is something called diverse roles. So variety in task or projects. In a way, I love the gig economy majorly because it's not monotonous. So if I'm a PA for a company, maybe I'll send emails, I'll prepare presentations, I will handle calendars, fixed stuff that don't really change. If I'm in the gig economy, today I'm doing PA work, if I have the experience and the skill. Tomorrow I'm doing copywriting work for another brand, if I have the experience and the skill. Next tomorrow I'm doing graphics design. So I am fluid like that. I'm flexible. I am not what's the word I want to use? I am not stuck on a set of deliverables. I can decide that I want to do graphic design or copywriting or coding or whatever, for the client. So, which is really nice. So, variety in tasks or projects. The gig worker may take on different roles, like I just mentioned, across multiple gigs. So, like I said, multiple gigs. I'm doing design work today, I'm doing writing work tomorrow, I'm doing creative work next tomorrow. It's all me. I'm still one and the same person with multi skills. All right. So, and gigs are always the best for those who have multi skills. You know that I'm good with accounting, I'm good with copywriting, I'm good with marketing, I'm good with. And if I in a professional full-time setting, I will have to pick one. No, I want to do all of those things. So then you set up different gigs on platform like Upwork or Fiverr or now LinkedIn. and then you get jobs and you deliver and you get paid, right? So another important aspect of gig, characteristic of the gig economy, is something called self-management. So gig workers manage their tasks and timelines independently. This is the point I have to tell you, that if you're not disciplined with your time, you will not do well as a gig worker. You will not do well as in the gig economy. How do I mean? You have to be the one to wake yourself up. You have to be the one. You're not compelled to clock in or clock out. And because of that, you have to have that self-discipline. You have to manage your own time well and do what you ought to do part-time, right? So you have to be very disciplined, self-discipline, great with time management. If you need to take a course on time management, please do. Very great with project management. Those are some of the soft skills you need to add to your arsenal when you want to join the gig economy. And then we have no traditional benefits. So benefits like health insurance and retirement plans are usually not provided. All the 8 years, how many years now? Yes, 2018 till now. All the 6 years, that I've been working as a freelancer, as a tech copywriter, nobody has offered me insurance except for spiritual insurance. Nobody has offered me any insurance. Nobody has offered me any, what is there again? No health insurance, no retirement plans. Nobody cares about what happens to me when I retire, when I stop writing. And do you really retire from writing? You can tell me. So, and then finally, there's payment by project through tasks. So our payment or payout, we call it payout. Our payout are project based. So we do XYZ for you, we get paid XY. You do ABC for you, we get paid XYZ. So it's project or task based. We don't have to wait till the end of the month. Another beauty of the gig economy. We don't have to wait till the end of the month to get a salary. We can get work done in 3 days and get paid, another 2 days and get paid, another 3 hours and get paid. So we get paid multiple times in a month if your gig business is rolling. So that's about that. So you've seen it all, the difference between a job and a gig. Now, before I tell you what I think you should go for, let's quickly consider this Bible reference. For those who don't know, I take my wisdom from the Holy Spirit in scriptures. So all of the things I've been saying, if it's making sense to you, it's time to thank my sponsor, which is the Holy Spirit, which gives me the wisdom to share some of this deep stuff with you. So what is the Bible reference for this? Should I get a job or should I get a gig? Now, this Bible reference supports my own opinion, which is that Ecclesiastes 11:2 NIV version says that invest in 7 ventures. Invest in 7 ventures. Yes, in 8. Why? You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. What do you think this message is trying to tell you, who is listening to this right now? It's trying to tell you that do not put all your eggs in one basket. Invest in 7. Invest in 7 ventures. No, in 8. Why? You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. I'm sure this is already self-explanatory. A one-job person is at risk in today's economy. Maybe before 2020, maybe back in the days of our fathers and forefathers, those days of Shell and ExxonMobil and banking and telecoms and whatever, you could get a job and then expect to be in that job till you retire. That still happens a lot in the civil service setting, where if you get a civil service job in Nigeria, for example, you can expect to spend 10, 20, 30 years till you even retire, right? Awesome. But if you are in for some serious drive with what's going on in the world right now, it's better that you kick off as a gigite than as a jobite. Like, it's better for you to get a gig, enter into the gig economy than the job economy. Why? If you are in the gig economy, you have access to several clients. There was a time on Upwork that I was in contract with over 33 different brands. It's right there on my Upwork profile. So I was in a contract with 33 different brands. One person. That's like I was employed in quote with like 33 different companies who give me gigs from time to time. So if this one is not giving me a gig, this one is giving me a gig, and it kept me going. And for your information, I've been in the freelance game now for, like I've mentioned like more than once in this video, I've been in the freelance game now for 6 years. I started February 2018, and I've never had to look back or consider work. And if I can survive something for 6 years, I think it's it's safe to say that this is something that is very sustainable, right? And I've really enjoyed my time these 6 years. I don't have to wake up. I don't remember waking up to rush anywhere. I just wake up anytime I want, and then I do the job and get paid. So, and then a true life story is, time will not permit me to go deep into it. I got almost to the finals of an interview with WebFX. It's a very popular company around the world. They're into digital marketing or so. And they were telling me that they were going to, if they hired me, that I was going to work. I will start working by a certain time and close by the normal 9 to 5, 40 hours per week setting, but that they're only going to give me 30 minutes break in between. So it was so kind of strange to me, because I'm not used to that 30 minutes in a whole day. So I will keep working only 30 minutes. Me, I take siesta, I do all sorts of stuff. I pick calls, I chat with people, I go out on a stroll. So if you give me 30 minutes in an 8-hour it's not gonna work, man. It's not gonna work. The pay was good. It was going to be a full-time role, and usually they keep their people. It was a full-time remote job. I have to still work on my laptop from wherever I am. But eventually, the point I'm trying to say is that it took that to awaken something in me that I could never go back into this 9 to 5 stuff. I could never. So yeah, there you have it. So now over to you. You can ask a question in the comment section. We can feature in a future Young Folks Ask session. The best question wins a surprise gift as usual. And then if you learned a lot from this, imagine what you will learn from the Green Mentorship School, kicking off December 31st, which marks my 40th birthday. That's going to be my give back to you, and I'm going to teach you kingdom principles for success in business, in leadership, in the workplace, and family. And I've started talking to some of my friends who are top in their field of endeavor, and I think I'm going to be having a couple of more teachers. It just won't be my face, you'll be seeing, and all of this is coming to you for free. We are not going to charge you for it, but you have to be among the first 500 people to join the mentorship program. You will see in the description a link for you to join. You will see Green Mentorship School, so just click. You will see in the description, and then in the pinned comments where you can click to join the waiting list for the Green Mentorship School, where we'll give you more details, send you a text, send you an email when we are counting down to starting the program on the 31st of December. And then if you check in the description and in the pinned comment, you will also see a link to join our Telegram group, where we'll give you more updates that we can do conveniently here on the YouTube channel. And then finally, what do I say? Please subscribe to this channel, so that when we bring another Young Folks Ask question, not just that, we have a prophetic broadcast also that we do. You should check it out. You just check the playlist and listen to the 7 broadcasts about a new Nigeria coming that I received by revelation. I'm also a prophet in a way, a prophet to the nation. So I'm not just a tech copywriter. Tech copywriter is my day job. My night job. I'm a prophet of some sort, because God gives me instructions for this country, His plans, and I share it in the prophetic broadcast aspect. So please share this to someone who needs to hear this. And then finally, come to the comment section and bring a question that is been burning in your heart that you want me to break down the same way I broke down this topic or this question. What do I say at the end of every session like this? See you in green area. Jesus loves you. Bye-bye.